The past couple of weeks have been pretty crazy for crypto. On the one hand, we saw Bitcoin and a couple of others hit a new all-time high, and on the opposite end, we saw complete carnage. Now, over the past week as well, we've seen multiple different new announcements from Trump's side, which obviously caused the market to fluctuate quite significantly. But over the past, well, let's just say 48 hours, things have gotten way more interesting because of a very quote-unquote sad situation. Well, obviously for the markets, it's never about emotions, right? That is true. But the moment one country has a war with another, or starting to, throw some stuff over there, the markets react. Oil did pretty crazy. Our calls on Twitter, right? Because we also do some calls basically every single day with regards to what we think is going to happen to the price, have been pretty spot on. If you want to get some indication, if you want to get some idea, here's, for example, one of our most recent posts on where we think is Ethereum is going. And a little bit before that, we also have ourselves a Bitcoin post. And, well, you could just see, right? It's basically a log of our previous posts and just continuing on like that. And thus far, it's been pretty accurate, pretty crazily. And I hope that some of you guys that are trading were able to catch on. But then again, I don't think many of us could have expected a massive move like this to happen. And if you're not sure what I'm talking about, obviously I'm talking about the situation between Iran and Israel, right? I mean, if the US is going to pay attention to this one, oh, I shouldn't say pay attention, but involve themselves, could be another interesting move for the markets coming up. And obviously oil already skyrocketed, which, by the way, the quant had already put up as well. I don't know if you put it up on Twitter though. But the thing is, we were not 100% sure that this is going to happen right now, right? It was just, to come at some point. Having said that, if you're wondering what my current crypto strategy is looking like, what I'm doing, what I've been up to, well, for the most part, not that much has changed about the strat. I'm still just buying these crypto coins whenever I get the chance to, and well, I generally speaking still think that adding up on the bots or just adding up, stacking up your spot positions is the best thing to do right now. If you're wondering which type of coins I'm focusing on, I think the best thing to focus on right now is coins you're happy to hold for a few months and more. Why? Because we estimate the peak of the market to be between, let's just say, August of this year and January of next year. But a lot can happen in the meantime, especially that we could get a little bit of a push further out if the war continues on and gets heavier. And I'm just saying that from the perspective of almost anything you can think of, you can really spin a bullish crypto narrative onto. War, to a certain extent also. If you think about it, it's kind of good for digital coins. But from another angle, people get a little bit scared investing into these more speculative assets in times like that. And so it could push the cycle a bit further. But as long as it doesn't escalate to a very significant degree, most likely our coins will still see this crazy bull market. Matter of fact, it could even be that even if it gets significant, this is what pushes the coins over the edge in a positive sense. I'm speculating very heavily here just for the sake of it, in the sense that nobody's quite sure what's going to happen on both fronts. One, how this is going to escalate or de-escalate, and two, how cryptocurrencies would react to it. Anybody claiming to know for sure is a liar, because the crypto market has kind of like an inverse correlation to logic. Most of the time, all we get to hold on to is the 4-year cycles. And as of this point, still we believe that it will continue on the way we expect it to be. And that's why we have a pretty wide range of almost half a year. August of this year, January of next year, most likely September, October, my still expected time frame. But again, it could be a few months earlier, it could be a few months later, which is why I still think if altcoins start peaking here this season, it is still pretty wise to not start taking profits too late. That does not mean you should only start selling the moment September hits or October hits. No, you should be looking at how far up your coins are. And relatively, you should be getting rid of some coins if they're up significantly. Now, for example, with XRP, right? Let's say, for example, July hits, and all of a sudden the XP price is $17 a coin. And as to this point, it's $2.50. Any point of logic would say it is wise to sell a good chunk, right? I'm not saying everybody will. I'm just saying, hey, logically, it's a good idea because it's done, let's say, an 8x from the lower prices. Actually, the lower prices were 50 cents, some months ago, but I'm just putting it out there. Now, even though, as at that point, we still might have a few months of bull market left, it also depends on how the other coins are faring. And I had a question or I guess somebody asked me a question a few days ago about this. When do you think the bull market's peaked? Mostly, it is when most altcoins have hit an all-time high and continue to soar for a few days, a few weeks after that. But the problem is, some coins will be the last to hit an all-time high, while others will be very early and will be able to soar for a long time. But there's also cyclical coins. We know in bull markets, it goes from bigger coins to smaller to smaller to smaller because people, they FOMO. They see a coin like Bitcoin and they're like, oh, this is done well, I can make money with that. But then once they've made some money, they realize, hey, if I go to a smaller coin, I can make even more money. And that continues on. The ball keeps rolling. So it also might mean that some coin, which you were extremely excited about, that's quite big, did a all-time high, 10% above it, and then all of a sudden it doesn't really go much further than that because people already quickly after an all-time high rotate out. And that very often happens actually with coins that people were basically holding to sell. And that's not mostly the top of the top coins, but a lot of coins that used to be popular that are not anymore right now. One that, for example, I can think of is like Polygon. It used to be super, super popular, but also many top tier memes that are a bit higher on that ranking might not actually do some crazy multiples of their previous all-time high. And another one to that list is coins that had a price of, for example, $5 the previous cycle, but now market cap wise, it's significantly changed, meaning that the current circulating amount of tokens is significantly higher than a previously circulating amount of tokens, meaning to basically get to the same price, the market cap would perhaps be 10 times as high. If you do not get that, let's say with Bitcoin, right? We got to a $10,000 price tag when there were just 1 million coins out there. But now there are 10 million coins out there. So there are 10 times the amount of coins. If it wants to get to the same price, the market cap relatively will be 10 times as high, which is still possible from any perspective, but obviously significantly more hard. It's just something to quickly point out. Also, ladies and gentlemen, a lot of you guys must be wondering if I'm doing amazing or if I'm hurting watching my bots go down significantly. But let me tell you, all right, I'm still just eyeing a lot of these bots to be adding more. For example, the XLM bot here is down so tremendously, like 60%, that this would be a good time to add more money to my bot. So instead of adding extra margin, more and more and more, it actually could be a nice point to actually add some investment. For example, I'll do some right now. I'll actually add $1,000 as an investment to this bot. Why? Well, because since it's down 60%, I'm basically averaging this out a little bit. Now I'm only down 48. That might still to some people be huge, but again, this is a multi-month strategy to make millions of dollars worth of profit. It's not a small type of thing, right? So in this case, I should actually be adding significantly more to the bot. But it's just to prove an example. I could actually add another, for example, let's add another 1,000. Or you know what? Let's add another, $1,000 to it. That's another $5,000 in the bot, by the way, because it's 5x leverage. So we added another $1,000 to it because it was down tremendously. So now the moment that the price starts ticking back upwards, you can't fully see it right here, but it's on the right. If the price starts ticking back upwards, this is also going to make sure our loss is significantly less. And basically, we're DCAing to some extent, right? So I'm just looking through here to see if any of the bots are down tremendously. ADA. Remember, guys, we still have the strategy to get the ADA bot as well to some crazy number, perhaps even a 50K investment with 5x long, meaning a $250,000 position. I would not be sad to see that. But the ADA bot has been rotating very, very significantly in the midst, of course, still grinding out those profits. But some of the other ones have been doing way, way, way better for us. For example, Ethereum, out of all the ones, has actually been raking us in 13% in grid profits throughout the last month or so. That basically means, right, over an annualized period, this basically means if we keep this open, we should expect to double our money just from grid profits alone, right? The annualized total amount actually has to do with how far the price would be up, but the grid and annualized, they're different, these two. Why? Because the grid basically just shows you, even if the price stays the same, right? Even if Ethereum starts at $2,100, where it's at right, where we open the bot, and it stays the same at the end at $2,100, we still would have doubled our money. Now, again, because the price has gone up, we've got the grid profits and the unrealized profits. But again, you cannot guarantee where prices will be eventually. That's the difference between opening a long and opening a bot the way I've done it here. You can see Bitcoin, we opened at 94,000. It's right now 105. In terms of gains, really, for the most part, we've made 13 and a bit thousand, right? But the grids are what I care about most, because if we just stretch this out, even if Bitcoin goes back to 94,000, we've still made 2.5K, right? And over a yearly period, that would mean we made about 50% with XRP, the main bot. We've already cashed out 6,500, and that's the funny thing. Even though the price is only up from $2.11 to $2.15, so almost nothing, we've actually still made significant returns. You can see here we're up 17% or so because the grids keep cashing out. So just quickly check here. HBAR, we almost want to also add some to the investment. It's not 50% down yet though, so I'm still waiting. I could of course add a bit more. I could, for example, add $300 for example, just for fun here. We add it just to, I have to add at least 1,500. Okay, so we'll skip that one for now. Then we'll wait till it's down a little bit more. If it's down 50%, I will just add another 1,500 to, get that rolling again. These ones are not down though, so we're not adding anything to them. And again, the only thing I have to keep attention to is the liquidation price. But here, a good example of why this is so perfect is Solana. We started at 149. It's right now 145. So we're down, right? We're down $5 on Solana. But still, we're actually in profit on the position. Why? Because in the meantime, it's been gridding out those profits. And again, the goal is to get as much grid profits as possible while the price is going sideways, sideways, sideways. So the moment it goes upwards and goes crazy, we make a ton of money from the unrealized P&L, from the position going up. But we basically protect ourselves in case something goes bad. But in the meantime, again, what the bots do is they buy as the prices go down. If you want to get a little reminder of that, you can see what it looks like right here. As the prices go down, it buys, buys, buys. And if you want to join, the bots I've got over on Payonics. But if you just want to trade on a crypto exchange and you just don't want a KYC, you don't want anything, you can also check out the link down below to EX. I just quickly had to fix the link because I see this is one is not clickable. Or Bybit, it's my main exchange, but it's not usable in a lot of countries around the world. But they all have different bonuses. 𝗏𝗏𝗀 also gets you, if you click on it, you can see it. 𝗏𝗏𝗀 right now gets you a nice little bonus as well. If you deposit $5,000, you get $100 for free. If you deposit, let's just quickly see, $20,000, you get $1,000 just for free. Which is pretty nice because, again, this is free money. A lot of people, they sometimes hop to an exchange just to catch some free money, get yourself a free nice trade, something like that. But yeah, if you also trade a significant amount, well, again, depending on, it depends on what significant is, but you also get yourself a $2,500 bonus. Just check it out. Link for that is down below. And if you want to copy my bots, I've got some links down below here as well to every single one of them. But yeah, that's about it for right now. Just want y'all to know I'm still positive, still holding on, and even though you might see less videos every single day, it's mostly because nothing is really changing. And I can make these, which I will, again, because actually I'm realizing now I should just update every single day regardless of how significant the impact is, because, well, if I was new to crypto, for example, or even if I was here for a few years, but, maybe I'm in more deep than I'd be comfortable with, or just for the vibes, because I love every single one of you. It's actually nice if you just get an update on the situation and whether or not we're still thinking the same way, even if we are, just to get it confirmed and just to get a little update really on whatever's happening, because that's usually what I do. And so don't worry, tomorrow, or actually in a few hours, we'll be back with another crypto update on exactly everything that's happened throughout the night, everything that's going on, and obviously some cool trade ideas. I'll get you guys to something cool in a few hours, so stick around for that. And again, thank you for watching so much.